Hey, what's going on? This is Evan from Tomahawk Paddleboards, and today I'm going to tell you about the 10-6. So before I get into the board, I want to tell you about Dan Hogue. Dan's a good friend of mine, and he lives in Fresno, California. And growing up, Dan's parents would take him and his brother, and they'd pack him up in the car, and they'd take him over to the coast. And that's where Dan learned how to surf. 20 years later, Dan is still surfing, and he's still driving 3 hours every time he wants to catch some waves. And he loves it. And in the past, when he was riding a regular surfboard, he would drive over to Pismo or Santa Cruz. He'd sit in a crowded lineup, 25 or 50 guys, and he'd fight for waves. And he'd catch maybe 5 or 10 waves in the session. If he caught 10 waves in the session, he was fired up. That was a good session for him. Well, 3 years ago, I introduced Dan to stand-up paddling, and it pretty much changed his life as far as surfing goes. So instead of catching 5 or 10 waves, he was catching 20 or 30 waves. And instead of sitting in a packed lineup, we were going to places where there weren't any other surfers, and where we could catch as many waves as we want and have all the fun we wanted. And like many of you guys out there, Dan started on a 12-foot board. He has this monster 12-footer. I think it weighs about 40 pounds. He still has it today. That's what he learned to surf on. And it was the perfect board for the time. It was stable, it was fast, he could catch waves really easily, and he learned the basics of stand-up paddling. But like everyone, after you get the hang of it, you want to start turning more, and you want to start surfing a lot more. So he worked his way down the ladder of stand-up paddleboard. So he went to the 11-foot. After that, he moved down to a 10-6. From the 10-6, he went to the 9-6. And then from the 9-6, he went to the 8-6, and all the way down to I think he's on a 711 XL now. But every time he comes to my house and pulls up in my driveway to go surfing, he's got 2 boards on his car, not just one. He's usually got an 8-6 or a 9-6, and then he's got this board right here, which is the 10-6. And the reason that Dan always brings the 10-6 with him over to the coast is that he knows that no matter what the conditions are, no matter what the surf report says, this board's going to be able to handle anything that he encounters when he gets over to the coast. So whether it's big or whether it's tiny, whether it's glassy or whether it's windy, he knows that he can have a lot of fun and catch a lot of waves on the 10-6. And that's what this board is all about. When I designed the 10-6, I designed it for guys like Dan. People who don't live by the ocean, or people who can't get out every day, people who have families and careers, but who still want to surf, and when they do go surfing, they still want to have a good time, and they want to feel like they caught waves and performed well on those waves. So there's an old adage about an American Indian craftsman who used to make canoes. And someone asked him, how is it that you can make such exquisite canoes out of these trees? And his answer was so simple. He would say, well, I start with a tree and I just remove everything that's not a canoe. And I do the same thing when I shape these boards. We start with a hunk of foam and we just remove everything that isn't a stable, easy to maneuver, and fun to surfboard. And that's what this 10-6 is all about. It's got all the stability and volume that you need to have a good time and not have to work really hard. But as with all of our boards, the rails are thinned out, the nose is thinned out, the tail is thinned out, all the things you need to engage the wave and to have a good experience for surfing, to be able to turn well and to be able to flow on a wave. So we remove all the volume that you don't need. We keep all the volume that you do need in the spots where you need it. So for this board, it's a 3-fin setup. So you have a lot of configurations you can use. You can do it as a single fin, you can ride it as a 2+1, or you can ride it even as a thruster. Dan rides this as a 2+1. He's using these Vector 2 fins as the side bites. These actually come with the board. And then he'll take like this Future 7.5 fin and ride this in the center. And that allows the board to be maneuverable. The side bites allow it to really grip the wave and give you a lot of speed and power down the line. When I get on something like this, I like to ride it as a single fin, and I'll use this. This is just a stock fin. Again, this comes with the board. It's nothing fancy, but it's a big fin, and I slam this all the way up in the fin box, and it's a lot of fun. It's loose, and I have a lot of fun riding it that way. So with all fin configurations, my best advice to you is just try different things and see what works for you. There's a lot of wonderful fins out there, and this board's going to handle differently with any fin configuration that you use. So check out the 10.6, take it out, give it a ride, and then give us a call. Let us know what you think. I guarantee you're going to have a fun board. It's amazing to ride. You can enjoy it. Your friends, your wife, your kids can enjoy it. It's something you're definitely going to want to keep in your quiver for years to come. So check it out.